easily could have been like resolved if she didn't act like such a little girl. You know what I mean?
Jesus.
Because at the end of the day, if she was a mature woman, she could have been easily like, hey, hey, be real right now. If a mature woman would have been disgusted from a guy, it either could have gotten you like a slap. It could have been like, nah, I see him more as a friend. You know,
What?
quick
Hold on, hold on.
denial.
Okay, hold on. I'm listening to you, but
So I never like, how do I say, like shot my shot with her. I would just give her like flirty looks. That's all I would do, bro.
mm.
I never that with Larissa. I never like
Well,
grabbed
why
her,
why did
asked her a
she say
question.
that? Well, she said that you did make moves and you were trying to flirt with her.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I told her like I was like giving her flirty looks. So that is coming off as flirty. You know, when you're at a bar and you're
Mm.
like talking to a girl, just talking to her plainly, that could come off flirty. The way you look at someone, could come off flirty, and I was doing that. I
Mm.
was, cause when I seen that she dissed John from that kiss, I was like, oh shit, did John bust a move and like not make it happen? Like, oh shit. So when Ray was there, she was telling us even more. She was all like, guys, there's this one time where I was at John's house sleeping over,
Yeah, I was
and then
there. I was there.
yeah, so I was like, oh shit, like she like outing him out right now.
Mm.
And that's when I mean, but I never asked her, hey, can I get your number? Can I kiss you or nothing like that? But to tell you the truth, if I would have known that John told me, hey, I'm talking to this girl, shit, I wouldn't have been looking at her like, oh, we're just taking my shot and then gone with you guys.
I don't
But
believe
he never stated that, bro.
it.
He never stated that.
I think it's really obvious though. Like, why did everyone else know that?
Well, okay, it was obvious, bro. But she did diss him though, in that kiss. She did diss him, bro.
And
So in the hey, game is game, bro. Telling you, bro.
you're crazy.
So yeah. So when I did hear that, um, Christina said that, I was like, bro, no fucking mames, bro. What the fuck? That's crazy, bro. Why would she say that? I thought we were cool. Not gonna lie. Yeah, I thought me and her were like kind of cool buddies in a way.
Hmm.
So for her to like say that shit is like fucking outrageous. I could say she touched me first, bro. She
Yeah, I
technically
mean,
did. She technically did.
I think though there was like a really big difference though, Danny. I feel like you don't. I feel like
No,
you.
it's the same thing.
Well, it's very different from you because she didn't want to fuck you. You wanted to fuck her.
Yes, correct. But I didn't make it like make a move to make it like
I mean, you
think
said
that
you
I
wanted
wanted
to
to
kiss
fuck
her.
her.
You said you wanted to
Yeah,
kiss her.
yeah, I did say that. But she
Yeah.
didn't say nothing, so I was all like, all right,
She didn't
it's
say
fine by
anything
me,
because you made her
Christina.
uncomfortable.
I was like, it's fine by me, Christina. We don't gotta. And like she put her eyes down. She put her eyes down like
Danny, that's literally the sign that you made her really uncomfortable. You probably even triggered her.
not even, bro. She would have
Why,
picked it up.
Danny? If she was just like not in a bad moment, she would have just been like, ew. You know, she'd be like, ew, no. You know
Then
what I mean? Because
that's a denial.
that's what
Yeah,
Larissa would have done. But obviously Christina was bothered by that.
that's fine by me. If she's all like, ew, no, I'd have been like, all
No,
right, that's
I know.
fine.
I'm trying to teach you though, Danny, that she went through something in that moment. That's why she looked away. That's why she didn't say anything. That's why she looked down because
She just looked down.
Danny, I'm telling you that the reason she did that was because she got really uncomfortable. Like if you told me that you were gonna kiss me, I'd be like, get the fuck out of my face, right? Now if I'm a girl, I probably wouldn't say that, right? Because I don't want you to beat the shit out of me. But I'd be like, ew, and I'd walk away. But the
Yeah.
fact that she shut down like that, it's because you freaked her out.
Oh, that's
The
stupid.
thing I will say.
It's stupid because it's like, I mean, when in this like, even back then, you could go. Let's say you're talking to someone, you're like, oh, can I give you a kiss? And they could just easily be like, no.
Yeah,
And
man.
that's it. There's nothing fucking to it. It's just a yes or no. Like, no, I'm
Yeah, but
good.
I mean that's what I'm telling you, Danny. That like there's like the part that's missing from you that you don't see those things
I'm
because
just like
I
very old
recognize those
school.
things. No, I get that, Danny, but not
Yeah, so like for
everybody
like
is
someone
like that. Also, too, Danny,
like
like it's important to recognize how you're coming off as well because
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
need
I
to
know what you mean.
yeah.
I know what you mean. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm not only
That's
talking
why.
about your delivery, but I'm saying like she
Yeah,
couldn't
I
leave
know.
there either. Like you were
Yeah.
going to be
Nah, I
around
hear
her
you.
the
I hear
entire
you.
time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah,
if
yeah. I
you're a
know what you
random
mean.
guy, she probably would have been like, no, and walked away, right? But she's like, oh no,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
Danny's gonna be
Exactly.
here the whole time.
So that's why I asked her real nice too, though. You know, that's pretty fair. I ain't gonna lie.
Okay, how
That
about
is
this,
pretty
Danny?
fair.
Did you leave after she like turned down and all that stuff? You're like, all right, I should probably just chill. Did you leave or did you stay there?
Well, I was with Larissa. Remember, I
Yeah,
was in my position. I was in
yeah,
my position. She walked up to me. She walked up to me and she put her hand around me and rested her head.
yeah. But I mean,
So it's
okay, hold
technically
on though,
like
Danny. I'm listening. I'm listening, and I respect your perspective, right? I'm not gonna just say shut the fuck up and stuff. I respect
yeah,
your
yeah, yeah.
perspective, and I'm
No,
listening to you, and I do understand as well how Christina it was a little confusing at that time, right? But the thing that I would say as well, Danny, is I know I always say like you're autistic and stuff, but it's important as well. I don't know.
oh
I
my
don't fully
god.
know, right? I don't literally know if you are autistic, but it's important to recognize those small differences as well because yes, Christina could be a little bit over friendly there, but she also was drinking, which she doesn't drink all the time. She was comfortable, she was with her friends. She wasn't expecting that kind of environment, you know what I mean? Which
Like a simple question.
that's not a simple question, Danny. That's a
It's a simple question.
Danny. Danny,
It's different. It's
Danny, how
different
do you think your
if
sister would
I
feel if like when I come over I was like, "Hey, Danny's sister, can I have a kiss?"
she'll probably be like, no, what the fuck?
Yeah, she'd be like, "What?" She would
And then
I bet you
and
she'd
then she would
freeze
tell
in
me,
it. Yeah. No, I'm saying like if I was in front of you, dude,
yeah,
she'd be like, "What?" She wouldn't say no. She wouldn't be like, "Ew, you're disgusting." She'd be like, "What?"
yeah, she'd be like, no, and then
I
she'll
don't think
walk
she
away.
would say no right away, Danny.
Yeah, she would.
I think she would
No,
say
dude.
what? I think she would
Nah,
be like thrown
she'd
off.
say no right
No,
away.
I know she would say no. I'm not trying to say that she would say yes, but I'm saying that like there's a reaction to that, you know? And
Yeah, exactly.
that reaction also tells you like where people are at. And
Okay.
which is why I'm saying with Christina the reason
Yeah.
that she didn't have what you would call like a normal reaction, right? I'd be like, get the fuck out of here type beat, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because like
But
yeah, she was coming from a different place, which is
exactly.
why,
Okay.
like let's say Denny, that like let's say you didn't do anything wrong and maybe you were just too comfortable, right, and all that stuff. Even if you
But
were right, you made a woman uncomfortable, and she came from a different place emotionally when that happened. You get what I'm saying?
emotionally, what do you mean?
Like maybe like you triggered her, like.
Look, for example, with me, like for her to say that I touched her,
Mhm.
it's totally wrong.
Yeah.
She's valid to say, I will say this. She's valid to say, "Oh, Danny made me feel uncomfortable."
Yeah, well,
That's valid.
that is what she did say at first. Like throughout that night, that is exactly what she said. She said, "Danny's making me really uncomfortable. He's getting too close. He's, you know," and she told us that you asked her for a kiss, and she's like, "It made me so uncomfortable."
Yeah, there you go. Okay, that's valid as fuck. But for her, no, it is. It really is. I'm not
Okay.
lying. It's valid. I'll give her that. But for her
Mhm.
to say he, I touched her,
Mhm.
that's totally different, bro. That's
Okay.
different. Touching is not the same as saying, "Oh, he made me feel uncomfortable."
Yeah.
If I heard that the first time, I would have been like, "Oh shit, I made her feel uncomfortable with that kiss," or for that with that question. I would have easily reached out to her and told her, "Oh shit, hey Christina, like I didn't mean to make you feel uncomfortable," and I would have apologized. Real shit.
Yeah.
I'm that kind of guy, bro. Like if I overstepped with just a question, I would say like, "Hey, my bad for making you feel uncomfortable. Next time I won't ask none of that." Blah blah blah. But the fact that she said I touched her is like that's already too far, bro. Like what are you
I can
trying to
understand
do?
that.
That's fucked up for you to say that. To tell you the truth, that's fucked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
And if she
I
would,
can understand that, I guess.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. So for her to be like, I touched her is not valid at all, bro. And that's what made me even more pissed.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
Okay.
because
So.
it's kind of a
Mm.
sense of like, dude, okay, it's valid for a girl to say, you know, Danny made me feel uncomfortable with this question, and I would have been like, well, shit. I mean, I did ask that question, and if it made her feel uncomfortable, because every girl's entitled to however fuck she feels after whatever she gets asked, then I
Yeah.
would have said sorry, like, hey, sorry for making you feel uncomfortable with fucking asking you if I could have a kiss, and that's about it. And if she's like, it's fine or it's not okay,
I
then at
get you.
least I would have said I'm sorry on my end. But the fact that she said, nah, he touched me, like that's the first thing Kobe came up to me and said. He was like, hey, Christine was saying that you touched her. Like, what the fuck happened? And I explained everything to him, and he was like, damn. I mean, yeah, well, that's what she's saying, dude. And I was like, fuck. Well, that's fucking stupid. I never did that. Like, the only time I technically touched her was when I put my hand over her. That's about it. But you know damn well when the girl says he touched me, is all like, some type of body part involved.
Hmm.
Exactly.
I mean, that's fair, right? Yeah, saying he touched me does
It
entail
does fucking
like an assault and like an act.
exactly.
I could understand
Yeah,
that.
bro. So I'm like, what the fuck, Christina? Like, you really gotta go and say that? Like,
That's fair.
he couldn't have just said, he made me feel really uncomfortable with what he asked me. We'd be
Mm.
like, fuck, well, in that case, my bad. Like, I'm sorry for that. I shouldn't have asked you next time. Yada yada yada. But the fact that she said that is like, bro, I'm not even fucking say sorry for that shit. I didn't even fucking touch you for shit, bro.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, honestly, I feel like it was a big misinterpretation.
Mm.
Um, it's something that like easily could have been like resolved if she didn't act like such a little girl. You know what I mean?
Jesus.
Because at the end of the day, if she was a mature woman, she could have been easily like, hey, be real right now. If a mature woman would have been disgusted from a guy, it could have gotten like a slap. It could have been like, nah, I see him more as a friend.
What?
Quick
Hold on,
denial.
Okay, hold. I'm listening to you, but
So for her
why?
to be like
Why
in
are
her
you putting
feelings,
the
like,
responsibility of the situation on her?
no, it's not. It's not her response. I'm not saying her responsibility because at the end of the day, a question like that always comes off like strong. You know what I mean? It does come off strong. So it's more in the sense of like, um, how do I say it? Like, even let's say she did feel uncomfortable, right? And she chose to act that way, which she did, and she chose to be entitled to that way. She, like, as a mature woman, could have made the situation a lot less more dramatic,
Hmm.
realistically. Because if it was like a friendship where it was like, I'm not gonna like put dirt on him. He's he's a still cool guy or yada yada yada. I know he asked me a question like that. It's just I'm gonna keep my distance with him, but he made me feel uncomfortable with that question.
Hmm.
Then I would have been like, okay, I'm sorry. Next time we hang out, I'll just be respectable around you, and that's about it.
Mm.
Because at the end of the day, a question, "Can I get a kiss?" is not the same as "Can we fuck?" Like, bro, come on. The escalation shouldn't have been that much either, realistically, bruh. So that I mean, yeah, bro. I feel like when it was her ball in her court, she decided to like slam dunk that shit and be like, "Nah, this motherfucker touched me and did this and like did that." And I'm over here like, "What the fuck?" Just asked her if I could get a kiss. If it made you feel uncomfortable, I would have said sorry. And
Mm.
it's not something that could make the whole fucking group be like, "Yeah, don't fucking talk to this pervert anymore."
Oh, okay. Mm.
Exactly.
I can
So
see your perspective, and it actually does make
yeah,
sense.
because I mean, it was her court at the end of the day.
I do
She
feel
did
though
have
like.
full responsibility of the reaction and the outcome. And I'm not saying it's her fault because I did ask a question to some girls that could be uncomfortable. So yeah, I feel like she maybe if you how do I say it? You could see it this way. She maybe did go a little overboard with
Okay, well
her
hold on. Okay, hold
response.
on. Danny. I have two issues. So
Yeah,
the first one is I feel like you're diverting the scenario to like
it's just
to
more of a
highlight.
like
No, because like what you're doing, like what you're paying attention to and like
it's more
highlighting.
of a like alternate that could have happened that
Yeah,
could
exactly.
have gone better
But
instead of
the
like
reason
this.
you're also bringing that up is because it puts you in a good spotlight. Because it is right.
No,
Like
because
if Christina
it's
did
looking at
handle
it
it
at all
perfectly and all that
views.
stuff.
It's looking at it all
Yeah,
views.
but
It's not
we
it's
need
not
to look at
saying
what
good
happened.
spotlight or anything. So at the end of the day, regardless, I did ask her a uncomfortable situation. I did ask her an uncomfortable question, and she did go with an overboard reaction. She
You
did
thought
say
she
I touched
overboarded
her.
it?
For her saying I touched her, most definitely. Because one, that's a lie. If you want to look at it like that, one, that's a lie. For her to say I touched her, that's a lie. I didn't touch her. I asked her a question.
Okay.
So that's fair enough at that point. So if we're all like, well, what's the proof where he touched you? I mean, technically, there is no proof. What, me putting your hand over you? Okay, well, you touched me first. You put your hand under mine and rested your head on me. So, who touched who first? Technically, you did.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So, if you want to go that far, you technically touched me first. Secondly, if you want to go with, I asked you an uncomfortable question, I did. But you didn't just say that to everyone. You said that I touched you.
Hmm.
If you would have said, I asked you, you asked you. If Kobe could have came up to me and said, I asked you an uncomfortable question, and she's all bothered by it. Because when the minute Kobe told me, bro, I was like, nah, bro, what the fuck? I want to call her. I swear to God, bro, I said that. I was like, I want to call her, bro. I want to like be like, hey, what's going on? Like, what do you mean I touched you? Like, what's like? I don't think I did, but Like, what's up? Like, why are you saying that? And that's how I feel like, I would have de-escalated her, like, um, emotions, I guess, if you want to put into those terms. But Kobe was all like, nah, bro, I feel like everything's like too hot right now. Just don't talk to her, this and this and that. I was like, okay, that's fine by me. I won't talk to her. But I never touched her, bro. Like, for a girl to say that, it means I sexually assaulted her. I could go
Hmm.
to jail for that. So, yeah, bro. But if Kobe would have told me from the get go, from the beginning, that she said I made her feel uncomfortable with what I asked her, and she would have stuck to that, I would have reached out. I would have been like, hey, yo, like, I made you feel uncomfortable, like for real. And she would have said yes. I would have been like, damn, my bad, Christina. Like real shit, my bad. I didn't mean to make you feel uncomfortable. And if maybe her like, yeah, yada yada yada, just don't talk to me no more. You know what I mean? I would have been like, all right, yeah, I just want to say I'm sorry. That's about it. Like, I did not want to make you feel uncomfortable, but I won't talk to you. Hey, I'm sorry, and that's it. That's it, bro. Real shit.
Well, okay. Well, I have two questions. I have two questions.
Yeah.
The first one is, do you really think that you would have been that sophisticated with how drunk you were? Because you were fucked up.
What do you mean sophisticated? What's that mean? What's
Like
that
I'm
mean,
saying,
bro?
like as you would have done things as cleanly as you are saying now.
Oh,
Do you,
100%.
even
I
as
know I was.
even as fucked up as you are?
Yeah.
Are you sure,
Yeah.
Danny? Because when you're drunk, you're very persistent.
Nah, I was super. I wasn't so to say super drunk, but I was like, on a scale 1 to 10, real shit right now, I was like a good 7.5. I would have
Mm.
easily gone to like a 8, 8.5, 9 if I would have gone with like two more shots. But I was a
Well,
7.5. You know what I mean?
mhm.
7.6, 7 around there. And the way I approached her was with pure calmness. I was calm. I gathered my thoughts. I knew what I was doing. I knew what I was asking. I remember going, back and forth from the bar to the pool game because I know we were playing pool. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
for me to remember like every detail
Mhm.
and still be drunk is like valid enough for me to know what I'm asking and how I'm feeling. Now,
S-
if I would have been drunker, um, it's either I wouldn't have
Okay,
asked that
okay,
question.
really quick, Danny, because I feel like we're on the same topic for like a long
Yeah, yeah,
time.
yeah,
So
yeah,
your
yeah,
your issue is that she made the statement that you touched her, right? That's like your biggest issue.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so how do you feel about everything? How do
Nonetheless,
you feel about everything else?
what would you define everything else? Like the whole like.
Making her uncomfortable, harassing her, flirting with John's girl, and
Well,
then also too, like you knew that Christine was with me, even if we're not fucking, you still went after her, knowing that she was with me.
yeah. At the end of the day, the whole Christina part, she asked me to ask for her number, so that kind of gave me the validation to, approach her.
Hmm.
Um, so that kind of gives it a more of a valid reason, you know what I mean, to flirt with her, so to say. As far as John's girl, because when she first, when we listen, real quick, side note with Christina, when we first met up at Kobe's house, and just said hey, kept to myself. Um, didn't really fucking flirt with her, didn't really make convo with her, just was, you your own way, I'm my own way. So when she came on to
Wait,
me
hold
asking,
on. What about when you tried to hold her hand in the car?
nah, I didn't.
I saw you.
I put my hand out and she put her hand out, and all I did was measure our to
Yeah,
see
yeah.
who had
You
the hand
you
longer.
didn't
That's
hold her hand,
it.
but you tried to hold her hand.
No, that's not what I was doing though.
Danny, I know
I
I
I
know that you did because I remember I held her hand because I could tell that
no
you were trying to, and I wanted to show
no
you
I
that like
didn't
she was
I
with
didn't
me.
want to hold her hand. I
Are you
wanted to
sure,
see whose.
Danny?
Yes, bro, yes. Because she is pretty tall. I ain't gonna lie. So I wanted to see whose hand was bigger. That's all I did, bro.
Hmm.
I never was all like, oh, let me grab your hand. That's all I did. I never wanted to be like, oh, let me trick you into see who hands is bigger and then lock. Nah, I never did that. I never wanted to do that either. Um, and I know that was like what, maybe after Korean barbecue. So and for a fact, I will say this to tell you the truth. Um, when I seen you got bothered when she was all like, oh, you asked would you ask him to ask you for your number, right?
Yeah.
I seen you got bothered. So on the car ride home, I was like, man, I'm gonna just keep to myself, Christina, because I don't want like any problems with the Lexus. I didn't tell her that in my head. I was like that.
Hmm.
So I was on my side and she was on her side, and that was it, bruh. That was it. So don't think that like, okay, she was with me, fool. So like, why'd you like diss me like that? You know what I'm saying? But I didn't. Um,
Even when you asked her for a kiss?
at that point, she did approach me. She approached me, bruh. She
But
told.
she didn't try to kiss you. She didn't try to do anything with you.
No,
She
she
was just
didn't.
close. She was just close and comfortable. Because the thing too, Danny, is that
That's
she
flirty
was
though.
okay. But Danny, she was close with me, and she was closer. She was way closer than you with me. Like she was literally holding my hand and stuff. And why didn't I make that move? You know, why didn't I try to do
I
that?
don't know. I don't know, but I mean, I I just asked her that question, and then that was it, bro. Like she asked me to give her to put my number or put her number on my phone,
Okay,
so it's kind
okay,
of
okay.
like
Hold on, Danny. Like I feel like you don't recognize how really bad that is. That you, it's like you're looking for an excuse and an opening by saying the number thing. Cause like you like to fuck Danny, right? I mean, you talk about it all the time. And so that's where your intentions were. So here's a better way to picture it. When she gave you her number,
yeah.
you right there thought that you could fuck her. And I feel like that's a really bad
No,
problem. I mean, that's what you were trying to get though. Like
right then and
after
there, not
not like
really.
that, not like she was gonna fuck you right there, but you saw that as an opening and then you just like went full green light on who you are and
Not
what you're about.
necessarily, because in the car I did keep to myself. You know what I
Yeah, but like
mean?
as the night went
I
on, you
didn't.
kept getting more and more.
Not really.
What do you mean not really?
I didn't bust any moves after that.
You did at the
I mean,
bar?
yeah, cause she came on to me. So
Well, no, she didn't. She
realistically, the
didn't. She didn't
only
come on to you, Danny. She was friendly with you. She did not come on to you.
that's not fair, bro.
Danny, if she came on to you, this problem wouldn't have happened.
So exactly, thank you for saying that. If she wouldn't have came up to me with
No,
her
but
hand on my
Danny,
resting her
I'm
head,
telling you that it wasn't a move.
I probably would have never asked that question.
Yeah, but Danny,
Bro,
like that
cause
makes.
if I probably, if I, like, how do you say, like, if I was like still shooting my shot, then I probably, in other words, I would have shot my shot when we were in the car, both in the back seat.
Mhm.
I probably could have said it when we were at John's house sitting
Mhm.
down. I could have easily like, Christina, come over, and then I would have asked her then and there. But
Yeah.
I didn't. I never like went out of my way. Realistically, I never went out of my way, bruh.
Yeah, but still,
I
Danny,
really
like
didn't though.
you're saying that you got the green light just because. Like, what, did she hold your hand? Like, did she hold your arm?
Picture it as like me holding on to like the rail. So there's like a
Mhm.
little opening,
Mhm.
and her right arm went over, wrapped around it, and she put her head on like my shoulder side. I look back and I'm like, oh shit, it's Christina. And she's like looking at me. She's a bit shorter than me, so she's like
Mhm.
looking up at me. And I was like, oh, hey, I didn't straight up ask her right then and there. I asked her, you want a shot? She's like, no, I'm too drunk right now. And I was like, oh, okay, you don't have to. So I was like, hold on, I'm gonna take my shot real quick. And she was like, okay, go ahead. And she was still holding on to me.
She was
I took
holding
my
on to you,
shot.
or she was leaning on you.
Same thing, because
There's
she
a
had her
difference.
arm around me. So she's holding on to me with her arm and leaning on me.
Mhm.
Her head was still resting on me.
So
She
you
didn't.
don't think that she could barely stand, so she was trying to keep herself stable and up?
I mean, she walked over here without fucking flopping, so she was pretty okay.
But she also just said that she was really drunk.
Yeah, but she said that to avoid the shot, not because I'm drunk enough to not walk. So
But if you knew that she was that drunk, why did you make a move on her?
I mean, it's not to say that like I saw her, I was like, oh, you're really drunk? Let me try to shoot my shot right now. I didn't see it like that. I saw it more in the sense of she's holding on to me, she's leaning on me, and that's when I asked her that question. It wasn't a sign of like, here's my chance to, how do I say it, like, take advantage. I didn't look at it like that at all to begin with. I didn't look at it as like, oh, she wants me right now. It was like a sign of me to like, maybe she wants to kiss. So I asked her that question, and then when she said no, I was like, okay, yeah, that's fine. We don't have to. It was like, okay,
What about when you put your hand over her hand?
yeah, that's why I had my hand over her and she was
Yeah.
staring at me.
And then she removed her hand after you did that.
No, she didn't.
She did. I saw it, Danny. I was there.
She was still leaning on me.
I don't remember her leaning on you in that part. Cause
Yeah, she
not
was
not
throughout
there.
the whole time. She was leaning on me.
I mean,
The
but
whole time.
Danny, I was there.
I'm telling you, bro. The whole time she was leaning on me, and when I asked her that question, she was like, "It's okay," and she was like, "Okay." And then that's when she let go of me, and I went back to talking to Larissa and Ray, and that was it. That's when she stopped leaning on me. So, it's not like,
Didn't you
you know,
though? Didn't you put your hand over her hand after? After
no,
she told you no from the kiss?
no.
Are you sure?
Yeah, she walked away. After that, I didn't
Yeah,
necessarily
that's
say
why I'm saying
say.
that because I remember I was physically there when you put your hand over her hand, and then I remember her walking away soon after. I remember because she was uncomfortable. She told me she was uncomfortable with you.
But I never. The only time I put my hand on her was when I put my hand on like her back. That was the only time.
No, you put your hand over her hand like her fingers.
I don't think. No, I don't ever
Danny,
recall doing
I
that.
remember I saw it visually with my eyes because it upset me. I saw that you were looking at the pole, the metal pole that she was holding on to because she could barely stand up, and you put your
No,
hands
she
over
was
her
holding
head.
on to me.
Danny, I was there. I was literally
I
there.
was holding on to the pole.
If it's a different time, I'm willing to accept that. But the time that I'm talking about, Danny, I remember it vividly because I was not drunk.
She wasn't near the bar though.
Yeah, she was. I remember. She was holding onto it, and you were holding onto it, and you were staring at her hand. You stared at her hand for like 5 seconds before you put your hand on her hand. And I
I
remember I was
don't
watching you.
ever recall doing that, bro.
All my life, I
Seriously,
remember seeing that, Danny. I
the
remember
only
watching that.
time, the only time I was at the bar was when I was like, taking a shot with Larissa, and I was holding on to the handlebar.
Well, I'm telling you
And
that that did happen, Danny. I remember
Christina, the
seeing it.
only time I think I ever recall her coming to the bar was when she put her hand under mine and rested her head on me. That's when I asked her if she wanted a shot, and that was pretty
Mhm.
much it, bro. There was nothing more to it. So it's I don't know, bro. Like,
Do you think that as a man, you're responsible for being able to navigate and understand those situations?
yeah, 100%.
Then why didn't you?
What do you mean? In what way?
Like, how were you not able to see that she was uncomfortable and didn't like what was happening?
No, so when Sean came up to me and said, "You
Yeah,
gotta feel
I'm
uncomfortable,"
saying though, how did you not see that before?
Bro, there's only one
cause
person
she had said like she
who
was like,
does
"No,
this
it's
shit.
okay," and I was like, "All right, no, that's fine."
There's only one
She
guy.
didn't give me like a
Why did she? Okay,
disgusting
hold on. Why,
face.
why does she have to give you a full, a full sentence of her emotions? Why can't you recognize that like you made her
Asking a girl
uncomfortable?
a question if I could kiss you is making a girl feel uncomfortable.
Yes. How is that? You don't? Do you not see that?
I mean, you go on a date with the girl, right?
You weren't
Or you're
dating
talking.
Christina though.
No, but you're talking to like a girl, or
Yes.
let's say that girl
Oh,
asks
the
you
raid?
for her number,
No.
or
I don't
it's
think
kind of like
that opening is
she.
not acceptable,
That's a
Danny.
valid opening.
That's
That's
not
a
it,
valid opening.
Danny. No. You saying that makes you sound like a rapist.
I'm down to do all the stuff
Nah,
the raid
bruh.
on the other mission.
It does, Danny. Like that's not.
No, it
That's
doesn't,
not
bro.
good.
Should do like
Danny,
a
you
setup.
can't. That's not an opening.
Asking a girl for a
You don't
kiss
have
does
like your
not
own
make you a rapist,
oh
bro.
fuck, that's right.
It could make you look
No,
like a
I'm saying
like
that
too straightforward.
no, I'm
Too
saying
straight.
that
It could
you
be
asked
that.
because she gave you her number, which we're all friends by the way. All of us talk to each other. All of us have each
Yeah.
other's numbers. You said, "Oh my gosh, that's my opening to make a move." I'm saying that makes you sound like a rapist.
Not really, because I didn't make a move right then and there. I made a
I know,
move
but you thought
after
about it the
she made
second
a
that
move.
that happened. The second that happened, you were already thinking about it.
Not really, bro. You want to know the truth? What I thought about, bro? The real shit. When she asked me for her number, and I was like, okay, she put the number in. You got bothered, bro.
Yeah.
So the
Which you
first,
should have also like stopped.
yeah, I
Not
did.
like that.
I
See, I'm
put,
honestly convinced
I
everyone
did
does
that,
this.
Oh
right?
yeah, and then
And
she did
then,
keep pushing for it.
she was like, just ask for it, and I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, well, can I have your number? She's like, yeah, give me your phone. Give me your phone.
Yeah, she honestly
So,
did. Yeah,
so
that's
it's
the
like,
thing. That's the thing that made it really confusing was that Christina really did like. She made it such a complicated thing because she just could have told you no, but I don't know. They don't. I really didn't know.
you know what I mean? Come on, bro. Like, so that's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, if she would have been like, he made me feel uncomfortable, and just stuck with that, shit, I
Mhm.
would have said sorry, bro, because that's valid as fuck. I'm not denying that. I'm really not. But she didn't. She said I touched her, fool. Like, come on, Lexus, real shit.
I mean, I don't think you
It's
assaulted
not
her,
valid, bro. It's not valid as fuck.
but you did physically touch her.
I
Not
did,
assault
yeah.
though. Not
I
assault.
did physically touch her, but she physically touched me first.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, but to be fair, you're also saying that the first time she touched you was when she was drunk and holding on to stand.
yeah, yeah.
So she wasn't trying to touch you. She was trying to keep
So in
herself
other
stable.
words,
Because you
I
were
can
also
say
wasn't she holding on to the pole, Danny? Like she wasn't holding.
no,
She
she
was.
wasn't.
No, no.
No,
I'm,
she
I'm
wasn't.
saying
I
though
was
that.
holding on to the pole.
Yeah, no,
To
that's
the
what I'm
pole.
saying. That's what I'm saying, Danny. Like you were at the pole. If you weren't at the pole, she wouldn't have held on to you. That's what I'm saying.
Um,
That's what I'm
she
saying.
could have, or
She wouldn't have.
she could have just gone to where the pole was and leaned on it,
She
or
was
leaned on the bar.
she was drunk, Danny. Like she
So
wasn't
her
thinking.
decision was valid enough, bro. Like, and you could also say, why did she touch me if she was drunk? Like, put the blame on her too. You know what I mean? Like, she was drunk. She
I
shouldn't have
think as
touched
a
me.
man you need to claim responsibility of that situation.
It goes both ways at the end of the day.
No, she's no, Danny.
Realistically, only
Women.
because she's a girl does
Yes,
not
yeah, she's a
does
woman.
not like.
Let's hear it.
In other words, how do I say it? Like, unjustifiably deny that what she was doing, she was conscious about it. You know what I mean?
I mean, no, Danny.
Yes, bro.
No, no,
Yeah.
because you are a man, and as a man, you lead. You're leading a conversation. You're leading the movement. Women don't lead that.
Exactly. Okay, so let's say she was drunk and she was holding on to me.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna be a dick also and be like, hey, get the fuck off me. She's drunk. She's leaning on to me. I'm gonna let her hold on to me.
I mean,
Well,
yeah,
yeah, there
that's
you go.
fine. But okay,
Exactly.
why are you saying that? Why are you bringing that up? Like, why are you shifting to that?
Because you're saying that like I should have been in control of like the
No,
situation.
I'm saying that you
So
do
I
and
was.
did lead the
Alright, let's see
situation,
the video.
which is why I'm saying that you should take responsibility for it. But I'm also bringing up that like you're highlighting all these little points, but it seems like you're giving yourself a reason to engage because if you weren't at that poll, none of that would have happened. But I feel like you still would have looked for another reason, Danny.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I was at that pool so I could
I
take
think I should
shots
do
with
that video tomorrow.
Larissa.
Be like,
That
Yeah,
people
was
over.
the only reason I was there. I
yeah, but
wasn't there to
I'm
like
saying though, Danny, if you weren't at that poll, she wouldn't have held on to you.
exactly. And I could also say if I wasn't there, she wouldn't have approached me.
Yeah,
But I was there, so why did she approach me?
that's that right there, Danny, is what I'm talking about. You are. That's why I see you as a harasser, Danny. Like you're looking at it for your benefit. You're looking at every situation at
No, I'm
your
just looking at
benefit.
it fairly. You know what I mean? I was there
No,
for my own
because
reasons. I
yeah, but
wasn't there for her to
yeah,
approach
but
me.
Danny, like Christina did
She
the same.
willingly approached
Danny,
me.
Christina did the same exact thing with me, and I never made a move. And I could have. I easily could have. I could have had it. I had the green light on everything. She was literally like hugging me,
That would be
holding my
good.
waist, literally putting her face on my face, and I never made that move.
I mean, I
You know.
mean that's on you then. I
No,
mean, you know.
I'm explaining to you, Danny, that you're you're a problem
No,
because
I don't think so, bro.
I know that
At the end
Christina's
of the
drunk.
day,
Danny, Christina
at,
was drunk. I am smart enough to
so you're
understand.
saying, so
I
you're
wouldn't have
saying,
done anything with her. I would
so
have
you're
never done
saying
anything.
since she was drunk, she didn't know what she was doing.
I'm saying that because she's drunk, she doesn't have as strong of a responsibility, especially as a woman.
So it's a yes or no. Did she, since she was drunk, did she know what she was doing?
I would say as she got drunker, that answer becomes closer to no. As she gets more and more drunk, she starts understanding less of what she's doing.
So in
Wait,
other words, she assaulted me, but she touched me first.
say again.
She touched me. She assaulted me since she touched me first.
No, Danny,
She
she didn't assault you. She was,
so
you were in the way of the pole that she was trying to hold on to keep herself up because she was too drunk to stand.
but she came to me though.
Danny, I said this multiple times and I'm telling you again.
Cause
If you were
if she
not at,
went if
Danny,
she
if you were not at that pole, she would have not held on to you. That's what I'm trying to explain to you.
she but no, the reason she went too far to that side was because I was there.
I mean, not only
I
you, everyone was there. You,
I
Larissa,
mean
and Ray.
Miller and Ray exactly. So I asked her a
But okay, you,
question.
you see though
If
right
she
there,
was there
Danny,
for a shot,
you see right there how you immediately brought it back to you.
no, because that's. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm being accused, so
No, I know, I
I
understand that.
have to, yeah, I
I
have to
understand that.
find ways where it's like,
Well, I mean, Danny,
why
I'm
was
not
she
saying that you
there then?
assaulted her. I'm not saying that you assaulted her. I'm trying to talk to you as like a person who doesn't see certain things, and I'm trying to educate you. I mean, if you notice, like I'm not like I don't yell at you. I'm not
Nah,
accusing you.
yeah, nah, I get you, but
And
at
so
the end of
what?
the
And so
day, if she was there for like a shot, um, I mean, holding on to me was valid enough, but she wasn't. I had asked her, "Do you want
yeah,
a shot?" And she said no. So it's
yeah.
like,
And she said no, I'm too drunk. Which again
exactly.
reinforces what I'm telling you. Like when she went there, she was holding onto the pole to hold herself still. You were in the way, and she's like, "Oh, Danny's my friend. I'll hold on to him." Which again, she did that to me too.
Okay,
Which
yeah.
which is something you could make a point of, right? You could say, "Oh, well, she's comfortable, both of us at the same level," so I did get confused. That's something that I could understand, but I
I
just
mean,
feel like,
at the end of the day, it's like, how do I go? How do I say it? It's like she kept giving me like I don't want to say reasons, but she kept
well,
how do
that's
I say it? Like
and I get what you're saying, Danny, but that's
you
like
know what I mean?
that's the
She would
main.
go out of her
Hold
way
on, Danny, because that's the point that I'm highlighting as well. Like
because I was confused.
I feel
Like
like you're getting stuck on that idea as well. And to
yeah,
your
because that's how she
and
came
yeah,
off to
yeah,
me.
no, no, to your benefit, to your perspective, Christina was very confusing. I will give you that. I remember I was telling like Matt, I was telling, like I don't know if it was Matt or someone else, but I remember I was like, what is
I
she
think
like?
it was
Why?
Matt because
Probably yeah,
I
because
don't think
Matt, we were
she.
together, right? We were like driving.
Yeah,
Wait,
you
no,
guys
I
were
think Matt had to
together.
leave. No, because Matt wasn't at the bar and stuff.
Uh,
Who drove
I
me? I don't
actually
know. It might have been Sean. I think
no,
Sean drove us.
no, you guys took an Uber.
No, we didn't. Someone drove us. I think it was Sean that drove us. But either
Oh yeah,
way,
I know I can
but I
believe
remember
it.
either way. The thing that I will say is that Christina definitely did make a very confusing thing, and I think that
Mm.
she didn't realize, especially how you are, right? I mean, to be fair,
Well, with the
that's a hard one.
situation that like I was trying to
Hmm.
get at her, really,
Yeah.
really, really. You know, if she was like, "Oh, this guy's trying to get at me,"
Hmm.
I'ma not, make it friendly, so to say. Let's not even say flirty. I'm not gonna
Hmm.
make it friendly, cause he could take anything I do, like, to think that I'm flirting. You know what I mean? So,
Hmm.
yeah. Fuck. I mean, she was with you though, so I know where you're coming from with that, bro.
Hmm.
So, yeah, it goes both ways, 50-50. At the end of the day, it
Okay,
really
so
does.
honest, like to be fair, Danny, like to be fair, I do think both of you were very immature, and I think both of you lacked a very significant amount of wisdom, right? Because it's like I can say all I want, why didn't you do the same things as me? But it's like to be fair, and
Yeah,
this isn't
true.
like fucked up. Like I'm not making this at you, but it's like
No, no.
I'm generally and genuinely like more advanced than people are our age, you know. I study this shit, I pay attention to this shit, I learn this shit. I mean, the fact that I'm able to have this conversation with you, right? Like most people would just be like, what the hell, Danny, right? Um, but so like to be fair, right? It was a confusing situation. There was a lot of different directions
Yeah,
and stuff. I can understand how you get confused, and then to hold you, especially right to like an advanced standard, wouldn't be fair to you either, right? Because it's like you're not. I'm not calling you stupid, but to expect you to like to be at your best, right, would be unfair because you're a human. You're a person learning
yeah,
learning your life, and it's like you're navigating this and you're confused. So that is something that I would give to your benefit, which is why the main points that I'm really hard on are just your perspective, because it's like I can nag you all I want about like, oh, you shouldn't have done that, you shouldn't have done that, right? But I'm not a fucking child, and you're not either. Instead, I want to highlight the parts of the situation that I feel like were maybe not misread, but more
but
like
like
should have given you,
unnecessary.
yeah, unnecessary, but more so would have given you points to be like, you know what, like this is a little too confusing, this is a little too weird, like
Yeah,
maybe I shouldn't have even like really, you know what I mean? Because that's what I would do too, which is like,
yeah,
which is
yeah,
why I was bringing it up when she was drunk. Like, I mean, not that I really would have done anything with Christina, right? I never, I chose not to. But even if I liked Christina, and she was that drunk, I'd be like, you know what? Even if Christina likes me, like this could be a problem, because like she's drunk, she's kind of being goofy, she's being confusing, like